Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today I want to walk you through some RPS games I was playing on my Shadow Priest yesterday. We were actually playing against some RMPs and a jungle, which are two very popular compositions right now. So I want to break down kind of the strategies that we use to actually play in these games. So I'm playing Shadow. We're playing with an Assassination Rogue and a Resto Shaman. This first game is Arcane Assass Disc. Then I have a game against a Fire Mage, and then we have a Jungle Cleave to look at. So let's go ahead and break things down. First things first, I do want to note, in the Shadow Priest Moonkin games I was actually playing Spiteful Apparitions for my traits and Death Throws in my helmet. And I was playing with Disarm or Psychic Horror and not Shadow or Death, so I was actually playing the Shadowy Apparitions talent. However, with this composition, it's a lot more setup based, a lot more CC based, and instead of just maximizing DPS, we're actually going for setups as well, which means I'm playing with Shadow or Death, I'm playing with Death Throws instead of Spiteful Apparitions, and I'm playing with Short Silence instead of Psychic Horror, since we have the Rogue for those kidney shots. So those are the slight differences in build, and strategy from the previous video I uploaded about Shadow Priest, where I talked about Shadow Priest Moonkin, if you guys actually saw that sometime last week. But let's go ahead and start this game. Here we are on hook point right away. I'm trying to get in combat, and I'm spamming out my Mindbender. Mindbender, number one thing you want to get out because it'll actually get you to 60 insanity quicker, which means you'll have that Edge of Insanity 20% damage reduction on you, so you don't actually die as quick. I actually don't get it out for a little bit, a couple globals there, because they were opening up on my Shaman, and instead I decided to shield my Shaman, go for something like a Silence, go for something like a Fear, and try to get the control underway. So I'm still actually not at 60 Insanity, so I actually need to work on that, getting up my Vampiric touches, and here we really want to be dotting the Rogue and the Mage, and it's not, I can dot the Priest as well, but it's not a huge deal to dot the Priest, because we do want to CC the Priest with things like Panda, Fear, Silence, Blind. Wow, we do things like Kidney Shot the Rogue, Kidney Shot the Mage, get a lot of defensive cooldowns, rinse and repeat for the rest of the game. And I'm positioned very offensively here, right? I'm positioning myself in a way that I'm next to the Priest. I can push in for that Fear, right? I'm close to him for that Silence. I'm basically like putting myself, I'm dead zoning this Priest based on my positioning. Now, my Shaman and my Rogue are on the other side, in between me and the Priest, and the Mage and the Rogue are kind of near my Shaman. So the positioning here is very, very critical. We get the full Kidney Shot out onto the Rogue, and we put that full Silence out onto the Priest. Rogue gets very low here, trying to get that Shadow or Death off. I think I get one, and the Rogue actually barely survives there with that Cloak of Shadows. Any more CC on that Priest there, it would have been more cooldowns, I think, if we got a CC on the Priest or a Vanish Cheap Shot on that Rogue. But Cloak of Shadows, he has no Trinket. He's still about 50% life. Have a lot of spread pressure coming out. And for this next go, we have a Mindbender go, which is great. As you can see, I'm kind of constantly pushing myself towards this Priest, playing very aggressive since they're not actually on me. Go with that full Kidney and Silence. And guys, this is like clockwork right here. Silence on the Priest, Kidney on the Rogue. You can also Kidney the Mage. We opted to not really go Arcane here. Sometimes we'll go on that Fire Mage though. But every time you have that short Silence, 30-second Silence, lines up pretty decently well with that Kidney Shot. So let's get some CC on the Priest, Kidney Shot, get defensives. In the meantime, when we don't have those diminishing returns, we're playing defensive. It's almost like the back and forth goes we talk about when I'm playing something like RMP, where you'll do a go, you'll get cooldowns, and then you play defensive. However, when I'm playing defensive on Shadow Priest, it's something like shielding the Shaman, mind controlling, off heals, life grip, swap, mass dispel, all of those type of things. We do get the pain suppression. We get the Crimson Vial there as well from the Rogue. Getting out the spread pressure, because the spread pressure is still important, but not quite as important as the person. We push in for that full Fear onto the Priest. Kidney Shot comes off in 2, 1, boom, full Kidney Shot lands, and the Rogue just goes down. So it's like, we do a go, we get the Trinket, we do a go and get the Cloak, we do a go, and we get the pain suppression, and then we do another go and win the game. Pretty nice like game here. It actually went flawlessly, and then the entire time in between goes, I have things like shield or swap kind of available, kind of ready to use them if I need to. But this is just a nice game to show you guys like positionally where you should be on the Shadow Priest. I mean, especially if they're not targeting you. Now, if they're targeting me, then my Shaman can maybe be pushing in a bit more. My Rogue can be pushing a bit more, and I can pull them a bit further out. But here was that game. Damage breakdown. Their Rogue actually did a ton of damage. And then Shadow Priest right behind that, a Rogue, and then lastly, that Mage. But let's hop into the Fire RMP game. Alright, guys, here's the Fire RMP on Blade's Edge Arena. Here we're fighting this composition. The priest immediately runs in. I'm trying to get my Mindbender out, which I do, and I'm trying to get dots out to get up to 60 insanity immediately. And I disperse here in the opener. And this might be like, why did you disperse here? Because, guys, out of the entire game, the only time I'm not going to be above 60 insanity for the edge of insanity damage reduction is right in this opener, right? Right here in this opener. So, I just disperse to make sure I don't die in the opener. We trade the cooldowns effectively. And that's fine, right? I don't need to freak out and try to hold it till 10% life. It's just like, I'll trade. They got the sheep. I don't have edge of insanity up. I'll trade my cooldowns. That seems fine. So we do that nice cooldown trade there. I can go with maybe a triple fear here in a second. I get fear. I don't quite want to will that fear, but I do get that triple fear shield out onto my rogue, and he actually cloak and evasion. So all in all, actually a pretty good opener for the enemy RMP, and they want to do things like do setups onto me or do setups onto my rogue. I think now that their opener, I have above 60 insanity, their opener just got dispersion from me, and they got cloak and evasion from my rogue. They want to be targeting my rogue, so I want to keep that in mind. Now I'm going for hopefully some stops here under the mage, going for the mind control, try to jump him off, going for another mind control, once again, trying to interrupt the polymorphs, trying to make this mage, just give him a hard time getting these polymorphs, right? We want to make it difficult on the mage. I actually go for the will, juke the counter spell, and try to get that massive spell, but I actually get mind controlled on it, but regardless, definitely good to try to get those master spells on the polys. Whether or not you get them is I mean, it's great if you get them, but if you get the kicks out of the way and you get the mind controls onto you, then that's less damage, less kicks for your shaman to have to deal with when he actually gets out of that CC. So regardless, you want to attempt to try to get that master spell. Now, I did use the silence defensively onto the mage, so I don't have the silence for this setup, unfortunately, but the rogue's taking so much damage. Cloak of Shadows and Evasion come out. We get the fear, and it looks like he's just going to go down. My rogue's getting very low as well. I have swap available if I need. I have the silence onto the priest after that. Yeah, and the rogue just kind of dies to damage. That's the kind of thing about RPS, guys. You can have a lot of really, really quick games. The enemy team use things offensively like trinkets, and maybe some other core defensives, and then we get something just like a fear, vendetta, kidney, boom, he's dead. Priest had no trinket. I had silence available after that fear. Let's just rewind that. Look how quickly he died. Like they're doing an offensive go onto us just a second before. Kidney shot comes out onto Jax, the enemy rogue. He pops Vendetta. I push in for a fear onto the priest. There's so much damage happening. He cloak evasions. We get the fear, and the game's pretty much over. My rogue's getting low as well, so I do throw a shield out onto him. But yeah, just a short little CC chain like that with the Kidney Vendetta, game's over. So you do very, very well in the comps where you can actually just get a setup like that when they have no defensives, and it's just pretty much GG. Here's the damage breakdown on this one. It's actually a very, very short game as well. The enemy rogue, once again, coming out on top, just doing a lot of damage to our rogue, and then the rogue below that, and the me below that, and then the mage last. A lot of the time, mages will come last on damage because they provide a lot of that control and a lot of that burst, which is totally fine. But yeah, another nice game. Let's hop into a jungle matchup now. And just quickly, guys, I talked about my spec already, but this is the build when I'm playing with Moonkin, right? Auspicious Spirits without the Shadow of Death. I'm not playing Last Word. I'm playing that Psychic Horror instead. But when I'm actually playing RPS, I do swap it up here. I think I should be swapping it up any second to Shadow of Death and Last Word. And then I can go Mind Trauma, or I could go Big Dispersion here. I have been playing a ton of Mind Trauma. I absolutely love the talent. If you fully channel a Mind Flay, it'll actually steal their haste, give it to you, which is just so good, right? I mean, if they're losing haste, you're gaining haste, and you're doing damage. It's just a good recipe for success. So I like to play Mind Trauma as much as possible, but I think against RMP or jungle, there is merit to actually playing Big Dispersion instead for that 90% damage reduction instead of the 60% from the normal dispersion. So if you are just finding yourself dying in the opener against like a turbo or a jungle or an RMP, I don't think it's a bad idea to actually go with the Big Disperse instead of a little bit more damage, because at the end of the day, a lot of the times it's RPS, if you live you win, and getting out that extra damage sometimes isn't as important as surviving, obviously. We throw the cheap shot into that silence out onto the priest. Don't think I have room for a fear, but I'm keeping an eye on my shaman and going for that massive spell on the trap if need be, right? If he gets trapped, we do want to go ahead and massive spell that trap away from my shaman, or grip him away from a trap, or any one of those things. My shaman is playing adaptation. Full blind comes out onto the priest, and this is kind of not great, right? We blind the priest, the pet stack comes onto the hunter, and hunter jets around the entire pillar. We don't get the sap either, so our blind was kind of wasted. Feral did a great job of kiting, but we do go with that kidney silence, just like clockwork. Boom, boom, kidney silence, and the hunter's taking a lot of damage. The priest does pre-barrier, so it's not a ton of damage, but my shaman and my rogue are both kiting up top. So I need to do a good job of trying to prevent the CC onto my shaman with whatever I can. I mass dispel the fear. I grip him away from trap. So subtleties like this are definitely going to help you win games. The hunter actually does run back to my shaman, land that full trap. Now he's in CC. He doesn't have adaptation for another 15 seconds, so I'm going to start throwing out the mind controls. And guys, this is like the number one thing when you want to start getting better and better on your priest is you're there for damage, of course. You're there for setups, of course, but you're really, really, really there for utility, right? That's why you're bringing a priest over something like a mage, right? Mages can do setups and damage and burst better than a priest, but what do priests have? Priests have the shields, the swaps, the massive spells, the grips, right? The mind controls. It's so much utility built into this class that you can really prevent anyone on your team from dying at any moment, as long as you have some buttons for them, right? Hunter no trinket, kidney shots on diminishing return for another 10 seconds, trying to pre-mass dispel this trap, trying to cheek out these kicks and stuff like that. Mind control actually comes down to me. Great mind control by the enemy priest, kind of knowing that's going to happen. There's the trap. I go for the mass dispel. Probably get kicked here by the feral. Do get kicked there by the feral. Full kidney shot comes out though. Have the silence for the priest. I should have used it actually there. If I silenced the priest, it would have been an instant trinket. Should have used the mind control there onto the priest. Use it a little bit late now after he gets topped back up. So a little not great. Xaryu not doing great there with that silence. Should have done that like 4 seconds sooner. But we do pop out that Mindbender. Still have that life swap available. Full fear coming out of my shaman. Things are looking a bit scary, but we have a lot of pressure, and priest is 34% mana, and that's really, really great. Go for that massive spell in the trap. Boom. Don't quite get it. Get interrupted. Go with the life swap instead. I'm getting very low. No dispersion available. No swap available. Have that vampiric embrace heal in about 3 seconds, so I could use that if we don't get top back up. Silence comes out onto the priest once again. Not synergized with kidney, so I really think I should be waiting to silence kidney as much as possible. Priest does I think he trinketed that, so he has no trinket now available either, which is great, which means this next setup, if we kidney shot the hunter, silence the priest, we could definitely win there in that go. But defensively, it's getting a little scary. Grip my shaman away from potential CC there. But it looks like he might get trapped. I have that massive spell ready. Hopefully, I can land a massive spell in one of these traps here. Dark Archangel comes out. Little scary. Going for the massive spell over and over. Trying to juke out the kicks. Massive spell. Boom. Comes out onto the trap. So we empty that trap. His adaptation actually procs as well, so a little unfortunate. Pain suppression comes out from the defensive cooldowns of the enemy, and we use Spirit Link. So Spirit Link and Pain suppression. Priest is 10% mana. Priest is almost on He's on empty there. Panda Racial comes out on the priest. Hunter getting very low. He uses Turtle. So basically both teams right now, we have no trinkets, no swaps, no links, no anything, but they have no mana, no turtle, no pain suppression, a little bit more damage, one more kidney shot out on this hunter, another silence or fear or hex onto the priest. It should be chi. There's the full trap coming out. I'm going for the mind controls because I don't have that massive spell available. Every time your healer's in CC, you want to either massive spell it or mind control, one or the other, or both, right? If you get kicked on mind control, go for the massive spell. If you get kicked on massive spell, go for the mind control, just like that. Hunter's getting very low here. Super sketchy. Throwing out the shield. Silence onto the priest. Shielding my rogue. Bash comes out on the shaman. My rogue's getting very low, but the enemy feral's getting very low as well. Vendetta comes out, and he does go down with that kidney silence. Sketchy game, right? To say the least. Sketchy game. But a lot of the games like that, you're doing as best as you can to survive each little go, right? Just slipping by surviving each go, and then as you survive each go, you actually do very, very well as the game goes longer because you have that Shadow Priest spread pressure. A lot of defensives to rotate through. Then eventually, with that silence kidney vendetta, guy just goes down. Here's damage breakdown. Feral comes out on top. Shadow Priest and Rogue a little bit below that, and then Hunter below that. And yeah, we got to about 2,800, almost 2,900 on some of those games. So we had a really nice queue session. Definitely looking to queue more RPS. 8.1, guys, comes out tomorrow at the time of recording this video. By the time this video is live, I think 8.1 will already be out. So I'm super excited to play Shadow Priest in 8.1 with all the reworks and try out all the new comps and all the new traits and all, like, I'm excited, guys. 8.1 tomorrow. By the time I put this video out, it's going to be out, so I'm super stoked for that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you did not enjoy the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs down. Talk to me in the comments about what you guys want to see in 8.1. Definitely plan to be playing a lot of Shadow Priest. Definitely plan to play a lot of Mage. I don't know if Fire, Frost, or Arcane is going to be the best spec, most fun spec. The spec that bursts the most is the one that I'll probably be playing. But I think Arcane might be back, guys. I think Arcane might be back, so I'm really, really excited to try out Arcane. Let me know what you guys think down below on what Mage specs are going to be the best, what you guys want to see, and all of those type of things. Guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next upload. Peace.